it's never been my intention to create a trend.
Oh.
That was never the intention. That's maybe the luck part. And I don't know if it's even a skill, because, I've been paying attention to the success rhetoric, right? And I always heard you have to have a vision for what you want to be, for what you want to do. I mean, even Oprah says that. But I got to tell you, I could never have envisioned what I've been able to do. Like, I didn't even have a context for it. So how could I have envisioned it? So I think that advice, it's not that it's wrong, it's just that it's not the only way. I think if you can envision something, great, go for it. But I never could. So my only option was really to just keep moving toward the heat. Like, if I would see something and I would be like, oh, wow, that is interesting. Let's go check that out. Let's go check that out. And then, and I would get there and I would see everything and I'd be like, oh, what's the next? Oh, okay, look at that. Okay, that's interesting. Let's move toward that. So I think it's more just the guts to just keep moving toward what's interesting. And then if it turns out, you get there and it's like, it's not that interesting. Go look for something else, And it was also a remedy to the fact that once I really know what I'm doing, I get bored. So I have to keep doing stuff where I'm not really quite sure what I'm doing.
Wow.
And get around people who do know what they're doing so I can learn from them.
Wow.
So I know I risk sounding like I'm actually just a dilettante. So what makes me not that? I think it's another trait where I crave mastery. Like whatever I'm going to do that I enjoy, I'm going to get really good at it. I'm just going to get as good as I possibly can.
Yes.
If it's not that interesting, I'm okay being okay. But, there's a thing in the U.S. Constitution that talks about the pursuit of happiness. I don't expect you to be familiar with it. Why would you? Well, you spent some time in the U.S., so you probably heard it, right?
Yes.
And it struck me when I was studying neuroscience that not everyone, but many people are really, all they want is the opportunity to be in pursuit of whatever it is. And I feel like we've over-indexed, Americans have over-indexed on the word happiness. And the really important word in there is pursuit.
So I always had a fear of heights. I was the kid at the local community pool on the 5 or 10 meter board. I never jumped off of it. My twin brother would make fun of me. He was always jumping. So when I went to the Air Force Academy, in order to graduate the academy, you had to jump off this 10 meter board, 33 feet high diving board. And it was during swim class. I think it was either the end of freshman year or my sophomore year. It was part of water survival training. You had to jump off that diving board, swim underneath this little simulated canal area, and then come out the other side. And so I looked to the instructor of the class and I said, "Do I have to jump off that thing?" And he said, "Absolutely. You don't graduate the academy or have any chance of flying unless you complete water survival training and jump off that diving board with a 35-pound pack on your back." And so I was thinking to myself, this wasn't in that marketing catalog, right? It wasn't there. So I was faced with this choice. Like, I got to face my fear of heights. So my dream was on the opposite side of that diving board. My dream was in the water. I couldn't stay up there and achieve my dreams. So I had to take that leap of faith. I had to jump. I had to step out of my comfort zone. And it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. And normally our fears are normally, that's the case, right? It's normally not that hard. And so I jumped, and then I remember getting out of the water and climbing up the ladder and jumping again and doing it 2 or 3 more times just to get it out of my system. And it was my first confrontation of really facing a massive fear that I had, and understanding that it wasn't as tough as I thought it was, but also how you have to elevate that passion over your fear and to tap in to that dream. And many of us either have this dream, or we don't have clarity on that dream, or we give up when that diving board, that 33 feet leap, hits us. And your decision to make that leap is going to determine your future. And so many times, and you're married. Do you have children? I'm sorry. Do you have children?
I have
or
3, yeah.
You do? 3 children. How old are your kids?
One is 20, and then 15, and then 13.
Okay, so young. You have a couple of young kids. Now, like, if you were afraid of heights, I don't know if you're afraid of heights, but if your kids were in the water screaming, "Daddy, Daddy, help me," you wouldn't care. Like, if it was 33 feet, 66 feet, you would jump. And most people who are massively afraid of heights would jump if their children or their loved ones, somebody who needed them, was in the water screaming, "Help me." And so more often than not, when we have a passion and a goal, and we're faced with a headwind, a missile, a diving board, this fear, we have to tap in to what it is that we love. What is that goal that we love? What is that dream that we love? What is it that the human, the child that we love, what are we willing to sacrifice in order to save or accomplish our goals? And many times in life, people who are peak performers, we forget about what it is that we love. We forget about the challenge, the goal, the dream, the growth, the people that we're impacting, the love, the service. And when fear comes, we don't build up the resilience to take that leap and to face our fears. So many times we have to remind ourselves what it is, not just what we fight for, but what we love for. You know, you've heard the expression, what keeps you up at night? Hey, what's keeping you up at night, huh? Right? That's a very common business question. Have you ever heard that expression?
Yes.
Yeah. So what's keeping you up? You know, but I think it's not what keeps us up at night that matters. It's what gets us out of bed. What keeps us up at night is fear-based. It's anxiety-provoking. It's the 33 feet high diving board. It's the fear, and it holds us back. What gets us out of bed is exhilarating. It's inspirational. It's aspirational. It doesn't promote fear. It incites courage. And it's only happens when you're tapped into what it is that you love, that cockpit, the plane, the dream, the child that loves you, your spouse, your future, your goal of opening your business, closing your first sale. Whatever that is, you got to tap into that and stay focused on that and be focused on that instead of the fear, and it'll help you overcome your fears. So my fear of heights and then eventually claustrophobia, when I almost died in a scuba diving accident, suddenly I was jumping in the plane and having these panic attacks, and I had to go back and tap into what I loved, tap into my dream, and also tap into the fact that I wasn't flying solo, that I had other folks on my team, my wingmen who were backing me up and supporting me and absorbing my fear. And this is where others can help you take that leap of faith and face your anxieties and fears and be a performer and accomplish your goals.